So Go Tell on the Mountain is the first song that I can remember hearing someone play and sing on the guitar. A elementary school teacher pulled out his guitar from the case and started playing, and then inviting everyone to sing along with him. So it's one of my earliest kind of musical memories. This arrangement is inspired by the flexibility of the song. So at the beginning of the arrangement, I try to take a chordal vocal approach where I play kind of these open cowboy chords, shapes, with the melody on top. And then in the middle of the arrangement, we start to see a little bit more movement with the bass line. And then towards the end, I really stretch out the harmony. The song is extremely flexible because the melody is simple enough to pull out different ideas underneath. It's also a song that has evolved over the years. It started out as an African-American spiritual. During the Civil Rights Movement, it was adapted to be used in as a protest song. And then eventually, nowadays we think of it as a Christmas song. So it's taken on a lot of different forms. So throughout this arrangement, I try to emulate that evolution. So to play this arrangement, I would start out with really getting a feel for the melody on its own. So if we play the verse and the chorus sections, they would sound something like this with just the melody by itself. So as you can see, the melody doesn't move around too much. It's all very diatonic, and it gives you a lot of space to grab different things underneath each melody note. The first section, we're playing, like I had mentioned before, these kinds of cowboy chord shapes. So as you play through the melody on top, you can use these open G, C, and D7 chords. I like to use the first inversion in this arrangement with the F sharp in the bottom to give you a skeleton of the arrangement. So if we play that at the beginning, slow. All of these chords that I'm grabbing with my left hand can be some kind of adjustment of an open G chord, a C chord, or a D7 chord. Some interesting things to point out in that first section are in bar 7, there's a little bit of inner voice movement as we start to shift towards the movement that's happening in bar 9. So in bar 7 we have a D7 moving to a G chord, again with the melody on top. Then we go to an F sharp diminished chord here, which is going to resolve to the final chord of this section, a G. these kind of tight, small voice leading moments are reminiscent of choral arrangements, which is another kind of influence on this piece for me. And then as we move into the next section, bar 9, a lot more of that movement starts to happen. So in the bass line we have and that's all happening over this very slow moving melody at this section, right? We have all together we have right. So I practice this section slow. Again, start with the melody, make sure that feels very strong, and then add the bass notes in by themselves with the melody on top. Once you have the melody and the bass line down, then try to add the inner voices together. This will both help with figuring out the best fingerings for your hands, and to help hear the structure of this section. If we go to the next part of this section, starting at bar 13, we have similar movement, but instead of the bass line going down, we're gonna go up. And now we're introducing some outside harmony. So once again, we have a lot of these kind of choral-inspired voice leading movements. So I'll reiterate that it's best to kind of practice these movements by playing the bass note and the melody together at first from this arrangement, and then try to fill in the rest of the voicings afterwards. Another technique you can do if you're not familiar with these voicings is to, instead of thinking of them as individual chord shapes, try to think of the intervals that are happening beneath each note. For example, when we get to bar 13 again, right? We have these chords. Those are listed as a G chord and a B flat chord, but you can also think of it as a D note on, or a B note on top at the beginning of the bar, with the intervals beneath. You have, that's a third, a fourth, and then a fifth. And this chord, the B flat chord, you can think of it as, there's the melody note, a fifth below, and a sixth below that. In the final section, a repeat of the first section, I move the melody up an octave so that there's more room to experiment with outside harmony. It also gives the arrangement a little bit of a lift as we move towards the end of the song. So I'll play through some of that here. So a lot more movement and a lot more chromatic chords. So it starts off with, in bar 17, an open G note and the B on top. So before we start getting into this dense harmony, I'm simplifying the voice. I'm grabbing this chord here for the C. Still a basic C triad with the melody on top. But I'm including open strings to kind of let those notes ring out as if we were in a very echoey room or something. Then in bar 18, I have an A flat chord, which is very tense because it's a half step away from the root of the key, right? But overall you get this kind of sound. And after hearing throughout the song a lot of G and D chords, right? This helps to take your ear out of that harmonic space and introduce something different. This A flat major 7 sharp 11 chord is another voicing where you can think of it as a melody note with some intervals underneath, right? So that's a second below. It's a sharp 11 below, let's call that a flat 5 below, right? Or sharp 4 below. So a second below and a sharp 4. And then we move to the next bar. We have the melody going. So. So then in the next bar, we have a F sharp diminished chord, which is a substitution for D7. D7 is the 5 chord of the key of G, and it's moving back down to G. So another kind of substitution for that is F sharp diminished, which is the 7th chord of the G major scale, which has the same kind of pull to resolve to G. So this is pretty simple. I'm just playing an F sharp diminished chord and then playing the melody on top. In bar 20, I'm thinning out the arrangement again and playing these dyads of tenths to allow that motion to happen. And then I'm ending on a voice-led D sharp diminished chord, which then leads us down to the G chord at the end. A D sharp diminished chord is the same as an F sharp diminished 7th chord in an inversion. So then the final few bars, we have a little bit of a thicker voicing. So we once again have the beginning, the B note on top, the root G in the middle, and then these notes that fill out the rest of the chord. The 5th of the G chord, the D string, then another B note, and then the B note on top. If we go from the previous chord, the D sharp diminished 7th, you see that all these notes are voice leading to these open strings. The C is moving to B. This D sharp is moving down to D. This A is moving to G. So let's continue. This is all the same. Then we have some more kind of small chords with voice leading once again at the end. This is a G major 7 without the root. And a C sharp minor 7 flat 5. Then a D7 without the root. Then an F sharp diminished 7th. Which is, if you look at it, looks very similar to the part of the D7 chord. We still have that A, the 10th fret of the B string on top, and then we're voice leading them. land on a G chord in first inversion. The last part of this arrangement, I'm just playing this lick just to explore the range of the guitar and kind of create some guitaristic idiomatic movement. So that's my arrangement of Go Tell It on the Mountain. When you're practicing this, remember to practice it slow. Play the melody first, then add the bass line with the melody to feel the skeleton of the arrangement, and then fill in the chords. Once again, I'm Broit Siriwat here with Acoustic Guitar Magazine. Thanks for watching.